My name is Steve Somerton. I'm the Director of Church Administration and Finance for the First Congregational Church of Greenwich. And when the cleaning company was here, drying everything out before the company came in to abate the building, asbestos materials that had been compromised because of the water. They were packing things up and they had machines drying everything out. And we still didn't know, again, we thought it was coming from the drain pipe, and it was raining out. Not like today, it was downpouring. And the manager, case manager from Serco, came in here and his eyes were open and he said, "It's literally raining in the kitchen." And I walked up with him and we were in the hallway, and if you walked into the room, you would have been in the downpour that was going on outside. Inside of a room, that's how much water was going in. We went above, and of course, in that room, it was downpouring through the ceiling, through the light fixtures, onto the floor, and its water's finding any way that it could travel.
So it sounds like you're pretty happy with how this has gone so far.
Yes, a lot of people are very happy. And Anthony has done a lot of work. Again, it wasn't like, he just sat down, met with them, with an agreement, and he's gone. They've been here for, I think we signed with them in July, early July, so they've been here for 2 years. I don't know if this is one of the longest ones they've stayed on, or I'm sure it's up there, but this is, I know, Anthony told me, going on that, there's been some, that this claim, he's dealt with things he hasn't dealt with before. And some people shy away from that, but I could see when he tells me that it's just something that ignites his fire, that this is something I haven't dealt with before, and he really goes after it. And it's not that, we're getting more than we should, which we were getting what's in our policy, what we're entitled to. So when we first met with John, it took everyone a step back to say, well, we have insurance, why do we need you, why do we need to pay your fee? Because we're going to get what we get from our insurance company. But when he went through and explained how the insurance companies work, because they're business, and, they want to, they're a for-profit business, so what's going to happen?
It's funny, before I got involved with John to learn about this industry, I've been programmed, marketed to by the big insurance companies. You're in good hands. That's the farthest thing from the truth.
I think it depends how you look at that. I mean, the insurance company that we have is different because you have to be a church in a certain denomination, and there's only one agent in the state who sells that insurance, from what I've been told. Because our agent has not been out here at all since the incident occurred. And when I was on the phone with him, I asked him why, and he said that they typically don't.
That's interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind if I asked you how much this is going to cost by the time you're done?
The numbers are still kind of being put together, because there's a few different buckets. There was the cleaning, moving, abatement, which was a pretty high number, the rebuild, and the code number. I think out of all those three numbers, probably the rebuild's the lowest.
What made you go with him? What about that conversation did you say, yeah, I like this guy?
Talking with other clients that he worked for, other churches who had losses of the same insurance company we do, they all recommended to hire an adjuster that you have confidence in. Check the backgrounds, do due diligence work.
Sure.
Hire a contractor, hire an architect. And I believe one of the people I talked to said, let them fight the fight because they know what to say and they know what to say. And that's pretty much...
That's a really good way to put it. They know what to say and they know when to say it.
Geez, I couldn't tell you how many times I've talked to them on the phone, how many times I've been here in person. In the beginning, again, the loss happened June 1st. That's when it was. It actually happened on a Sunday night, which I think was May 31st. I think June 1st was a Monday. So that's when the claim was called in, and the cleaning company was called in because our agent said, call a cleaning company and meet with the insurance adjuster when they come. And, was told certain things by the adjuster of, what they approved for certain air scrubbers to come in and what are the machines that take the water?
Dehumidifiers. Yeah.
Big industrial dehumidifiers. And they told them what they were going to pay for, pretty much. And then when John came, he looked around, looked at the size of everything, he said, you don't have enough equipment here. So John made calls, and all of a sudden we had more equipment coming here. Because we have a preschool here with about 100 children. And he said, there's a school here. He goes, this equipment isn't adequate. So he made calls. I don't know who he called, but all of a sudden more equipment came. When certain things were taking too long, he was here. We'd call him up. And he, was very active in making sure that how we started out on a very strong foot. Unfortunately, the response back from our insurance company, takes a month and a half, which is the kind of average, So when there is that back and forth, we hear something, within a few days, Giordano will reply because you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row, you want to make sure you've done all your due diligence. One thing Anthony did is our policy, he must have went through that I don't know how many times, but he went through and he found everything we had in our policy. And he even said, oh, it's a great policy. He said, what you have is a really great policy. He said, it's just that, they have to pay out on it and they're going to fight it. Something I learned from this personally is if I were to sustain a large loss, the first thing I do is I give John a call.
Powerful words.
That's what I do. Knock on wood, nothing happens, but if something were, if there were another of, the 100-year storms that happened 2 years in a row with Irene and Sandy and, trees fell on my house, basement was flooded with water, call the insurance company, start the claim, then I call John.
And they've still stuck by your side, and they answer your phone calls, and they call you, and they follow up with good information, and they come here to visit you, it sounds like.
They do, and they deal with our contractor. A lot of the contractor has questions. Our contractor calls them up and talks with them. They talk to our contractor. In fact, last week, Anthony was here with representatives from our insurance company going around showing them the rebuild and code upgrades and hearing our story of our permitting with the town and going from a 1950s building to a 2017 building.
I can't imagine what that would be like and how things have changed.
It's exit signs, it's fire alarm, banisters in the railing, the railing banisters.
You're kidding.
Yeah. The heights and everything have changed, and because those are the areas that were affected by the water.
I never would have imagined that would have been part of a consideration.
So, the building had floodlights that lit up pretty much the sidewalk and the parking lot. And because of the water damaging the roof, when the roof was replaced, the conduit lines had to be taken up. And the town wouldn't let us put the floodlights back on the building.
Really?
Yes. So they're requiring us to put sconces on the building and then pole lights in the parking lot to make up for the light from the floodlights. And that's all because of the water damage.
So this was a domino effect. This wasn't just one piece. This really exploded out into a variety of other things. It's funny. You mentioned it and you said that insurance companies are businesses and they're looking to cut their losses, if you will, or reduce the amount of money that they have to put out. And that's
if I were an insurance company, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah. I can't imagine, although, like I said earlier, I've been marketed to, and I would think that they would do all these things. It's not until I've had the ability or the opportunity to talk to people like you that I've learned how deep the damage really goes. I mean, I'm sure when you first thought about this, you went, well, it's water and we'll fix it and it's not a big deal. And I'm shocked that they would have come back to you and talked about something as tiny as banisters.
Yep, and the stairwells, the way that the railings are, they have to be raised.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So from 1950 to 2017, things really have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in your position and trying to handle all of that. Forget about your day-to-day activities and everything else.
That's why the professionals are out there. That's why, you know, the church hired an architect, a contractor. That's why they hired, you know, John and Anthony.
Money well spent. But it really doesn't come out of your pocket. It's out of the insurance claim, correct?
Their fee is based off of what we end up receiving from the insurance company. But you know, it's a professional fee.
And you don't have to pay that up front. You're waiting. That doesn't happen until the
That
end.
doesn't happen until we're paid yet.
So they have quite an investment in you.
Yes. Yes, they do.
When do you think that this will all be over? Do you have any idea, looking in your crystal ball?
Well, our extension is for 6 months, beginning June 1st, so that would put you to pretty much the end of November. So hopefully,
Wow.
hopefully there isn't another reason why in September we have to get another extension. Hopefully it can be put to bed.